So, why have I had these skin eruptions come out? You can see here and here. They're a little bit better than they was, but they're still here. Why has that happened? What am I going through? What's going on? So, this all relates back to deep internal wounds with my inner child, and at the moment, spiritually, I'm ready to level up, but energetically my body doesn't feel safe enough to. So I've got this conflict going on within my body and my energetic field. So I'm gonna just say, before I dive into some stuff here around my inner child and not feeling safe, I want to say, when it comes to my parents, they couldn't have done more for me. They took me everywhere. They gave me things they never had. They sent me to the best schools. They allowed me to go and play sport and travel all over the world. They took me everywhere. You know, we always had great food. They did the absolute best they could with the knowledge they had, just like everyone else's parents did. And they are just the result of the environments they grew up in, and what was passed down to their parents was passed down to them, and that's how they reacted, and that's how, if we don't understand this work, it's just what we pass down to our children. This is why, you know, going in and doing this work is super important, because humans are great imitators. Like, children will very rarely do what you say, but they'll always do what you do. It's why people become their parents, and that's why your parents can trigger you, because they inserted the buttons. But, you know, my mum and my dad went through very hard childhoods. My dad's dad, both of their dads went off to war. They come back a completely different person. My dad's dad was a gambler. I used to gamble all the money in the house, so they had no money. My dad used to, you know, eat sugar sandwiches. He lived in scarcity his whole childhood, always worried about if they had enough, and that led to him, you know, being in the scarcity mindset, not feeling safe most of his life. He's done incredibly well business-wise, but it's always come from a place of, you know, pushing really hard and going to be perfect. My dad's a perfectionist, bottles things up, doesn't show vulnerability. No one showed him how to do that. No one was vulnerable with him when he was younger. And then my mum's dad went off to the war, come back a completely different person, a man who used to drink to forget, and he created a very unsafe environment in the home. Yeah, my mum was very scared often. He used to come back, I mean, in later life he mellowed a lot, but he used to come back and he put my mum in situations where she was extremely embarrassed and scared, because the house was very explosive. A lot of noise, a lot of shouting and screaming, a lot of her mum saying she's going to leave him. And this created an environment where my mum was wired for chaos. Chaos felt normal to her, peace didn't. And no one teaches your parents how to deal with this. No one. Nowadays we've got all this coaching going on and people understanding it, and so we're trying to regulate ourselves and we're moving past it, and it's up to us as a generation to squash these generational issues so we don't pass them on. But I just have great compassion for my mum and dad, because all they ever knew was how to survive. No one taught them what to do, how to go about it. And so my household growing up was one where, yeah, lots of love was showed, and we had you know, what I considered a normal upbringing. But having now stepped outside of myself, I know that, you know, a lot of things we had in our household were not normal. They were just common. You know, no one really spoke about emotions. Vulnerability was never shown. My dad always struggled to show love. They showed love in different ways. My mum would love bomb and then take it away. Yeah, a lot of silent treatment, a lot of shouting, and then, yeah, just chaos. And so my system has been wired for chaos my whole life. And so this has led to me, now I've gone deeper into it, you know, sabotaging myself in many ways, not thinking I'm enough, pushing people away, looking for chaos rather than peace. And my last girlfriend, for example, was the complete opposite of my mum. She was someone who'd done so much work, someone who held space, and it was just too much for my nervous system at the time to deal with. I did things where I was looking for, where the love given was so solid, it was so consistent. That was boring for me. Tranquility and peace have been boring for me, so I go looking for things to spike my dopamine. And it's even worse now we've got these phones, so I've got to be really careful about scrolling on the phone because it's dopamine. And what I'm doing right now is getting used to sitting in silence, not having the phone, not looking for things that spike me, whether it be films or movies or anything sexual or anything like that. Getting into a state of peace and allowing my nervous system to feel safe around that, safe around money. You know, I've done things to sabotage myself in the past where I've lost hundreds of thousands of pounds because I didn't feel like I deserved it. My nervous system couldn't hold that space. And so I'm ready. I've been told by a lot of spiritual teachers, and I'm working this on right now to help me through this. Whenever I need help in an area, I always employ a coach. And all the things I'm learning, I'll be putting into a Total Health Revival course, and I'll be teaching you in a masterclass when I feel I know enough, and when I feel I've embodied it. And I'll even get my coach to come on the call and share the knowledge. And so this is what I'm doing right now. And there's so many of us walking around with these deep wounds that we think are normal, and they're just common. And so many people go looking outside their relationship for spikes, or they they don't feel safe in their house because their house is actually a combat zone. They don't realise it, but that's what's normal to them. And their nervous system goes looking for chaos. And so I've been in this situation, and all the things I'm learning right now, extremely powerful for me to level up. I said before, spiritually I'm ready, but my body doesn't feel safe energetically. And so this is what's happening. I've got this push and pull, and this is why it's coming out of my face, because of the things I've been not speaking about to you guys, what I've been hiding from you. You know, it's funny because I'm happy to speak about everything. I wrote some posts. It's what I went through last year, and that was the big shift. Like, if it's like you're going to listen or you're not going to listen, and that was where I went through the panic attacks and etc. last year, because I'd been pushing stuff down. I needed time to reset and regroup, and now I really need, my nervous system needs time to understand that I am safe in these positions. And so many people are walking around, for example, with these old patterns, old traumas unhealed, and they go into relationships or into work environments, and this causes them to self-sabotage or have issues that are unnecessary once you start doing the work. Ken Wilber talks about most people, 95% of people on the planet, never get above a 12-year-old's psychology or consciousness. So we've got all these adults walking around in adult bodies, but they're actually a 12-year-old. And it's why people are defensive and reactive. Coming from a man's point of view, this is why I'm going to be doing a lot of work on this with both sexes, but I'm going to be calling men as well, because my last girlfriend called me higher in every single way, and it's led me to really look at things and how I wasn't a masculine presence, how I was reactive, how I was in survival mode. So it meant I was doing things out of scarcity or out of survival. And when I look at it now, and the things I'm reading and learning, a great book out there, The Masculine in the Relationships and King, Warrior, Lover, Magician, of how to hold that masculine frame and how to bring that into not just your loving relationships, but business relationships, in everything you do. It's meaning a real big leveling up in many ways, and how I can bring that to business, how I can be more precise, less gung-ho. I've got so much content out there from the past. I'm repurposed a lot because I feel like, I don't want to lose it. But as my coach said, like when you repurpose that, look through it in your eyes now. Is that still you? If it's not, don't post it, or post it from who you are now. Because where I am now and where I'm going is not who I was, even not even 4 years ago, even 2 years ago, 18 months ago. And so where I'm going now is really about expanding, elevating, optimizing health, but creating a world where I can lead and guide people. Before I've been the warrior, now I want to lead and guide people into their highest state, the best version of themselves they can be. And putting myself around people that are just playing life at a different level, a different game, and talking to people that want to be on that journey as well, that are ready to level up, people that take action, people that don't make excuses, people that are in it. You know, one of the frustrating things I see sometimes are people that are on my page and they're like, oh, if only I could afford this or afford that. And for me, that's like, I don't know if you've read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but it's like the poor dad says, oh, I can't afford that. The rich dad says, how can I afford that? And these are the people I want to work with, people that are action takers, people that understand that if they haven't got the resources, they can be resourceful. Whenever I haven't had the money, I've always managed to go and find it. Or not even just around money, whenever I've been in a situation where I'm like, oh, that's uncomfortable, I don't really like that. Okay, can I look at myself there? You know, how much truth you can hear about yourself and not run away is the level of growth you have. And it happens in all areas of life. I'm ready for people who just want to play life at a bigger game, who want to expand and who are ready to take a step forward, because whenever you take a step forward, the universe brings things a step forward to you. And so this is where we're going. And that's why I'm going to share all this with you, because I'm just going to be super authentic. Everything I go through, you know, I've healed myself in a physical plane 16 years ago, and then God was like, okay, you think you've mastered things, have you? Have this absolutely gorgeous, phenomenal woman, this divine feminine, and let's see if you really are who you say you are. Wow, wallop. Okay. Let's see. And that was the lesson, like, for where I was. Okay, you want to say you're masculine in all areas? Let's see if you actually are. Yes, you tick some boxes, but do you tick them all? No. And I've been called higher, to be more present, to be more precise, to be more loving, to be more heart-centered. Like, I know I've got a big heart, but sometimes I can get lost in my head, and I can start comparing myself to others, and I can start being very self-critical and speaking to myself badly. One of the things is like, no more speaking to myself badly, no more judging myself or others, no more, words of spelling. So being very, very cautious about what I'm saying. Listening, be fully present before reacting. Where I'm an 8 on the Enneagram, my mum was an 8, I'm an 8. We tend to can be very overpowering. So listening more than I speak, taking it in, having that clean energy of looking at every angle, then making a decision. And so this is where I'm going, and this is the transformation. So I'm almost shedding an old skin. This is coming out, and to be honest, it doesn't actually have to be like this. It's like a dark night of the soul. The coach that I've employed, she said, yeah, you're going through this because you didn't know how to transmute that energy, but we're going to do things now where you'll be able to transmute it. And some of the stuff's very, very challenging because it's boring for someone who's always looking for that. And looking for that dopamine spike means that when you're just being very consistent or not going out there looking for things that can get you juiced up, it can be uncomfortable. But after that, I've been told, comes bliss, and you won't live any other way. You'll just be in peace, and you'll be in flow state rather than looking for anything to lift you up. And because what goes up must come down. So yeah, hopefully this is all making sense. So my content moving forward, as I said before, I'll still be doing a lot of the health stuff, the detoxification stuff, but be diving a lot into the mind, to the energies, and I'll be adding all this to my courses, and I'll be putting them in masterclasses as well, and I'll be releasing all my modules individually. So if you can't buy the course, you can buy things individually. And I'm also looking to create a community, so I can release videos or do meditations and things like that, because I really want to build. I don't want to have just followers. I want to make other leaders, other people can lead in a very big way, because that's what we're about. And I love sharing my journey with you, and I really appreciate you being here with me. It means a lot. And so yeah, if this has spoken to you in any way, this resonates in any way, let me know with a comment below. Just say, yeah, resonates. But I'm going to be putting on a retreat here in Tulum. I'm going to do 7 days of a one-to-one, exclusive one-to-one, giving you exactly what you need. You'll fill out an application and we'll dive into what you need. And I'll also be doing a small intimate retreat, probably no more than, I'd say, would be 5 to 10 people, probably more 5, where we dive into completely rebalancing and resetting your nervous system, your body, going into the mind, detoxification, gut health, getting you in tune with Mother Nature. So much can happen with that, and it will be in a very, very special place on the beach, best food, and we'll have some powerful conversations, and we'll dive deep into you and what you need to release and who you want to become.